And we are live on Twitch with Tell Us About Yourself, featuring our guest, Jonathan Thew, aka Hold the Line Harry.
How's it going, Harry?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been going great. Thank you. As you put on the post telling people about this, it was my birthday yesterday, so I'm celebrating my birthday week, and it's always a good time.
Well, you got any big plans or anything?
We had a good family day yesterday, family dinner, and then my wife and I have plans on Friday. In-laws are taking the kids, so we're gonna have a nice date night, get some dinner in, and but mainly just chilling. Obviously, with this dread coronavirus, can't do all the things we'd normally love to do.
I don't know which is. I would probably put COVID as Hill of the Year. I would probably put United Postal Service probably second.
It's it's I've had a lot of delays, but in terms of the damage that some people have suffered, in terms of missing posts that people have suffered,
Hmm.
you know, touch wood, it hasn't affected me. So at least my mail actually gets here, even if it takes a week instead of 3 days.
Yeah, I think like here lately, it's been like a week or week and a half. My stuff is coming in.
Hmm.
It's unreal.
Yeah, well, I have two Mr. Ray boxes that I bought on Black Friday that are stuck somewhere between the Atlanta sorting office and my house, which is real close. But stuff gets lost between there and here, and it normally takes a week just to get those last few steps.
So normally I like doing these little blockbuster questions. I guess I can ask. I always ask at least. So I wanted to start off with what's up with the line gimmick? Where'd that come from?
The line or hold the line, because
Hold the
because
line.
because hold the line Harry was formed, as you guys know, maybe from the first CCC, about 12 months ago,
Hmm.
well before the line as a faction was conceived. So um, I decided when I created the gimmick for the CCC, and it was actually before the CCC. I sort of it was going to Plaid Saturday, and I shot my first promo, I think, at Jeremy Steigerwald's house, sort of introducing myself to the LFF. And I just wanted to be a rugby character. I played rugby as a kid. I played American football as a kid, so I wanted to be an athlete wrestler, that sort of thing.
Hmm.
Um, and I also wanted a very British name because I wanted to be a British competitor. So I thought Harry. Harry's a good British name. And then I also wanted the alliteration. I wanted something to roll off the tongue. And, I was thinking, you know, good, strong defense, not letting people, get past me. And I thought, hold the line. And then I decided I wanted to be a face. And I'm like, you know what? A face can be hold the line, Harry, as well, because it's about, making sure that people don't cross the line. So that's kind of where it came from, just all in here. And it all came together real well. The faction came much later, and I don't know if you want me to talk about the faction now.
Yeah.
Or,
Well, before we get
You.
there,
yeah.
we have a question from the Zoom room from
Oh, in the Zoom room. Go on.
an Anthony Perry.
Hey,
It's the
Harry!
line, and he's demonstrating with such wonderful apparel. There you go.
Christmas tree and everything.
Well, I think my video just cut off, but don't worry about that. I can still ask my question.
You
All
can.
right, now it's back on. Look at that Christmas tree. All right, I don't know why I shut off. Anyways,
Hang on, wait 1 second, just for you, Canoli. Hang
all
on,
right, all
hang
right,
on,
all
just
right.
1 second. There we go.
It's
The red
funny thing.
lion.
I'm not talking to Harry now. I want to talk to John. But anyways, John, give me your, if you can, your top three favorite male wrestlers of all time, and your top three favorite female wrestlers of all time, please.
Favorite wrestler of all time is basically all three variations of Mick Foley. I mean, that was when I kind of sort of got back into wrestling as an older kid, like high school age, the Attitude Era, and watching it in our break rooms. We had a TV, and people would bring in VCRs of the pay-per-views. Watching wrestling in England was very, very different, I'm sure, than what you experienced in America. We didn't have Raw, we didn't have SmackDown, or very few people did. You know, pay-per-views were on super late on expensive channels, and you had to basically, one person in the class would record it on a VCR and, you know, bring it into school and plug it in, and we'd watch it in like 30-minute segments. But it was great because we'd all watch it together as a group, which was pretty awesome. But yeah, that era, so very much the Mankind persona, and Cactus Jack, and Dude Love a little bit for the comic value. So I would say him, and then probably The Rock, just for his promos. Again, that era was very much when I really sort of fell in love with wrestling again. And then probably the third would be probably collectively the Hardy Boys for their TLC stuff and their matches against Edge and Christian and the Dudley Boys. And so yeah, I'm kind of, in terms of my growth into wrestling, it is kind of tunnel visioned a little bit. I mean, as a kid, you know, I had Hogan toys and Ultimate Warrior toys and Macho Man Randy Savage toys, but we didn't have any TV to watch really then. All we had in England was like I'm going to say it was like a one hour show on like a Sunday morning, which was basically like the previous week's mishmash together, you know. And we never had WCW or any of the other promotions growing up. It was really just WWF. So, or we had WWF. I'm calling it what it was. But yeah, so yeah, those would be the male wrestlers. Probably for female wrestlers, you know, as a teenager, you have crushes on them. And actually, the ones that really impressed me, I was a big fan of Lita because she was, I would say, again, of that era. She came out and she really wrestled. She was like, her high flying stuff was great. Really enjoyed her stuff early. Got a bit weird when they went like to the crazy saucy stuff with Edge and stuff, but like when she was actually wrestling more as opposed to being a more of a manager style thing. I would say she was probably my favorite female wrestler.
And then just a quick follow-up if I can.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you said you watched wrestling on like channels at weird times, weird hours, like it wasn't like no Raw, no Nitro, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
Was there like places like video stores where you get VHSs to like?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, we had the me and my friends, you had a good mix of the original, like the In Your Houses, like In Your House 2 and In Your House 3. And I remember like going to my friend's house across the street, and we'd always put them on VCR as well. But it was still just the WWF stuff. There was really no access to any of the WCW stuff, which was weird. And there really wasn't any exposure to British wrestling either. I mean, I know British wrestling, even like learning about it now, was very much a big thing, you know, at the promenades and the like the summer camps and all the stuff you sort of hear about. But I didn't see that. I would have loved to. I would have really enjoyed it if I had been in that place at that time to see that stuff. But that was never televised. I mean, that was kind of, you know, still pretty niche. You had to be there to see it.
All right. Thanks, John / Harry.
You got it, Cannoli / Anthony.
All right. So we do have a Twitch question from Evil Ed, who has just subscribed again for another month. His question is, Ed. Cheese or pickle?
Cheese. Big fan of cheese on crackers and, you know, even on its own.
On a biscuit?
Actually, my wife said last night for my birthday dinner, what do you want for dinner? And it was cheeseburgers. I just wanted good old homemade cheeseburgers. And that's what I had for my birthday dinner last night.
Now, when you say crackers, do you mean cookies or biscuits or some other weird English phrase?
I think crackers the same thing. A cracker, like a thin water biscuit, like a wafer.
Yeah, size. I still can't get over them calling cookies biscuits. So.
Yeah, no. Yeah. So no, the funniest thing though is that what everyone calls them in England, they call them Maryland cookies, not Maryland. They're Maryland cookies from the Maryland.
That, you know, when it comes to like things said weird, that's fine. I mean, we could go with like Worcestershire sauce, things like that, which have far more weird names. All right, Dustin, you were going to.
Cannoli's gone now. I can go back to the normal red line.
All I was gonna say is I thought it was really cool that you really idolized Mick Foley. Mick Foley was a is in my top.
Oh,
I've got to
absolutely. I
admit.
mean, I have it on my desk next to me. I wore this to DragonCon. I actually wore it to my first Super Show tournament, which is my signed. It doesn't get worn very often. It never gets washed, so it's probably been worn 3 times and never washed. But it's signed by the man himself. I met him here in Atlanta when I'd been here for just a year. He came and did his stand-up tour, which was really fun. Really good
Mick
show.
Foley was the big part of me wanting to do the split personality thing. I think one thing, probably the best Mick Foley promo I ever saw from him was, I think, that Survivor Series when, he had all 3 of them on that camera, or all 2 of his personalities, and then next Cactus Jack jumps out, and he's facing Triple H.
When they did the street fight.
Yeah.
So that was that match was the inspiration, or partly the inspiration to the stipulation that I'm working on. I was like, I want a street fight. I want it to be just like that. Really freaking crazy.
I think we were talking in the Zoom room the other night, talking about how WWE has those Halloween fights and Thanksgiving fights. What if we could have like a Thanksgiving theme, maybe, where you could hit somebody with a turkey or something.
Slide them across the banquet table.
So fill us in a little bit on how'd you come about Super Show?
So always been a gamer my whole life, mainly board games, miniature games, and video games. I literally had never played any trading card games. Never played Magic growing up. Never played Pokemon growing up. Never even heard of Yu-Gi-Oh! Other than the fact it was a kid's cartoon. So that's kind of my real sort of going back history. In terms of games, the only one I carried on my whole life was probably Blood Bowl. So after college, the only one I carried on playing was Blood Bowl, the Games Workshop mini game that I know a lot of people play. And I started connecting with the American Blood Bowl players, once I moved here, and carried on listening to the podcasts and listening to the review shows. And it was an episode of Two Drunk Flings, which was one of the Blood Bowl podcasts. They had Mark Perry, Vegas, Mark F. and Perry on doing an interview. And it was about, I'm guessing it was about 2 or 3 weeks before DragonCon, year before last. And he literally was on there promoting Super Show because, historically, I think here in the US at least, is that Super Show has appealed to a lot of Blood Bowl players. I think it's probably the combination of dice and theater, because Blood Bowl players, more than I think Warhammer players, like to do the whole character stuff because there's more sort of RPG, there's more sort of personas to Blood Bowl than there are other Games Workshop games. So I think a lot of Blood Bowl players, started picking up Super Show in years gone by, and just hearing the way he talked about it, I was like, that's it. I'm going to go to DragonCon. I'm going to find the Super Show booth and learn how to play Super Show. And it was a real diving in at the deep end because Bob the Brain Dunn, the face of the time, not the heel he is now, Bob the Brain Dunn reached out to me and said, I'll meet up with you on the Thursday before DragonCon wrestling. We'll, hang out, play some Super Show, and, then we'll watch the wrestling together, etc., hang out. And I ended up going to an Irish bar in downtown Atlanta, playing Super Show with Bob, literally over this dingy table, and being introduced to the people around me. And literally the people around me were Steve Resk, Sam, John Calais, Leo, the commentator, Griff, and then soon after that, the Mad Custodian, Jacob Denmark, came in. And it was like, it's like, and I'm like, oh, nice to meet you. Oh, you're the guy that made this game? Wow. So, but it was awesome. It was just such nice people. And I very much straight in at the deep end. And, I didn't do much else at DragonCon other than Super Show. So.
All right. So we have
Hang on 1 second.
Cameo.
Sorry. Wait, hi, you're on TV.
Hi.
The future looks bright, folks.
Ellie.
I'm gonna go ahead and fill y'all in if y'all are cool with it. While he's gone for just a minute, or actually he's back.
Yep.
There we go.
That's
That's my wife.
Oh, you're good, buddy.
She's a wonderful woman.
Yeah.
The one thing she's like, I'll take the kids. Don't worry. Thanks, Dolly. The kids love Super Show as well, though, so that's awesome.
So we do have a few questions from the Twitch chat. One is my question for Harry is, do you respect the dweeb?
I do respect the dweeb, and hold the line Harry does as well. Me and the dweeb had a good little rapport in the first CAC, so yeah, he's a good guy. I like him.
All right. Evil Ed is, what is your take on the Hell in a Cell match with the Undertaker?
My take, the match I'll never forget. I mean, that's just match to end all matches. Never seen anything better. Don't think I ever will. Just and reading his biographies after, and just really getting into his head about that match and understanding it, really from beginning to end, only makes it more incredible. So I don't think that will ever be topped, in my opinion.
All right. Twitch user Nepsilon would like to know, will we ever see a Red Lion entrance card or a spectacle card?
Interesting. Spectacles, I could definitely see myself working on a spectacle. I think spectacles and the way they balance the game is amazing. Entrance cards, could I ever see myself commissioning an entrance card? I honestly feel I have so many entrance cards, even some that I've never used. I don't think I'd probably go out of my way to commission another entrance card, because just so many of them already satisfy a particular goal. But I think spectacle maybe, and who knows, maybe we get one out there, holds the line. And for people who get, hold the line, Harry holds the line, it'll be even cooler. But you could have, GPS holds the line, or Foxworthy holds the line. I think that would be a good name for a good Valiant spectacle. Who knows what it'll do, but
I was kind of thinking like you cross the line and then you play it on your opponent.
Well, that would be the heel version. We have holds the line and crosses the line.
Yeah. I was like, wait, you just crossed the line. I'm hitting you with a spectacle.
All right. VHS 101 would like to know, who would win in a fight, Lemmy or God?
Lemmy, as in Ozzy Osbourne Lemmy?
Lemmy as in Motorhead
Lemmy.
I think you've already lost the question.
What's the reference? I don't know. What's the reference between him
and it's God? A trick question.
I think God would probably. Oh, there you go. Yeah. I was never really a Motorhead fan. Sorry, Brian.
Yeah.
Hence me saying Lemmy, Ozzy, getting them mixed up.
All right,
Black Sabbath a little more.
Chuggynomics would like a pint, please, barkeep. So I don't think you're serving, but yeah.
Yeah, he wants a beer. It's Omegang. It's not Three Philosophers this time. It's their Christmas blend, Bourbon Barrel Adoration. It's very, very nice. Cheers.
All right, and that we are caught up on the Twitch for now, it looks like. So if Dustin has other questions.
Now, let's see here. What's I know event-wise, what's been some of your favorite online events that you've been part of here recently?
I mean, I like them all. I just love playing. I love playing Super Show. I enjoyed hosting and commentating the two that I did, and I may get around to doing that again. It's just having the time, and also there were so many other people stepping up to the plate and hosting. So I enjoyed both sides of the camera, as it were. It's so hard to just pick one out. I'm really excited for Press 1P's birthday extravaganza next Thursday. I want to give him a plug for that, because it would be really nice to get back to the full, 64 he's going for. It'd be amazing if you can get that many. And also I think to have the fixed steps and known steps, so people can use their best decks, use their try-hard competitors, but also those competitors that are somewhat restricted by top cut steps. You may not see many gold standards, because people will be like, oh, I don't want to be gold standard because of the step at the end. So I don't know. It's I like the idea of that. I like the pods. I like the fact you get 3 guaranteed matches in those pod formats. So you got 3 guaranteed matches, top 2 go through, maybe with a play-in with a weird tag format. I like those boss ready style ones as well, but there aren't really any I dislike. I have to say the torture of Halloween created by Simon and Void, the perpetual dice rolling of death was very frustrating. I'm glad that I got through it and placed in it and actually won something for it. But I think if I'd have gone through all of that torturous dice rolling and not actually got anything for it, that would have left me very sour, because that was a little on the obscure side, should we say.
All right. Nepsilon has another question. Why rugby over cricket? Imagine the DQ finish you could have had with that bat.
Good question. Cricket I like both sports, but growing up, I played rugby my whole life. I played rugby from 5th grade. Cricket, I never really got into to play. Watching cricket, I don't know if any of you ever watched it, but it's very much like baseball. It's the sort of thing you can go to and, drink all day and cheer when something good happens, but you don't necessarily have to watch the sport. It's more like a social experience, whereas rugby and soccer and American football, much more up my street. It's something which you can really get stuck into the game and really watch what the athletes are doing. So, I do prefer those more sort of physical athletic sports. Not to say that baseball and cricket aren't, but maybe less. It's a different type of sport,
I was actually fixing to say that, because I know with myself, I was always like that with baseball. I would rather play it than sit there and watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I know
if I'm
there's
there watching it, I want to
baseball
be with a
fans.
good group of people, and it's a social experience,
Yeah.
Whereas you don't go, like, if I'm going to a baseball game, and I've been a lot. I went to see the Cubs play at Wrigley, and the Braves play here in Georgia. And I've really enjoyed going to see those baseball games, but it's been more for the people I was with and the fun I was having, rather than, I couldn't remember what happened in the game, So
VHS 101 followed up with that. With cricket, no one knows what cricket is. You got to understand what a crumpet is to understand cricket, apparently.
Not at all. Completely different. You eat crumpets.
Yeah.
And they're delicious as well.
Chibi Black Templar would like to know, what do you think are your 3 biggest moments in Super Show so far?
I think my biggest, and it was reinforced by watching it on Twitch afterwards and seeing what the people were saying in chat and seeing what the commentators were saying. It was when I buried my hand to save Mysterious, knowing exactly where my finish was in order to hit P with it to win the tornado belt. It's almost like that was overshadowed by the fact that Mysterious refused to help him break out. And obviously that's one of the big things of this year that happened. It was some people hated it, some people loved it, but it happened. It was a decision that she made for storyline purposes and for because Impact had done it to the Inner Circle the night before, literally. That's Super Show. But for me, I won that match fair and square, and definitely I would say by far my proudest moment, and particularly the fact that I knew exactly what I was doing. And when I watched the Twitch stream afterwards, like seeing all of the comments in chat, like, what's he doing? No, Harry, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? And I'm like, and actually seeing the how it all panned out was very satisfying. So that by far, I think you asked for a couple more as well, but to be honest, that's just the one on my mind. Right. I think winning the Deep South, not actually winning the Deep South, the 3rd, 4th playoff, and was it even televised? It'd be hilarious if my second biggest thing wasn't even on a stream. But I played King Cold's Gold Standard in the 3rd, 4th, and I don't think it was on stream. I think I just played him. But it was the 3rd, 4th playoff in Gen Con, the winner of which got to challenge Jacob Maynard for the Deep South title. It was pretty cool to beat King Cold's Gold Standard deck, because I know how powerful that deck is. That was my Mila Mai deck that did that.
All right. Chugonomics would like to know, Coke, Pepsi, or RC?
Coke, Fat Coke, Red Coke, OG Coke.
All right. VHS 101 wants to know why, if anyone ever gets his movie references. The answer is no. No one cares. And let's see. I believe we have a question from the Zoom room from Matt Haas.
Hey Matt, are you coming in with video?
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Just talking. Oh, talking. That's cool.
Okay. Yeah. So my question is, I never asked you any rugby questions. Like, one of my friends in high school basically said that football is essentially just a sissy version of rugby. Do you agree with that? Disagree? And also, I never really thought about it, but considering the fact that you can get hurt in a lot of unpredictable ways playing rugby, have you ever considered as a kid signing up for indie wrestling, but something stopped you? And why did you retire?
Okay, so lots of questions there. First thing I'm going to say is I'd never call a football player a sissy. I mean, you get the banter between rugby players and football players because of all the pads. But quite frankly, in football, and I can say this because I played football in England for a while, American football, because of the pads, you do hit each other a lot harder and use your body as a roadblock a lot more in football than rugby.
Especially when you can lead with the head.
Yeah, rugby is a lot more technical, without any head protection and padding, etc. In terms of danger and risk, you're absolutely right. Rugby is because of the lack of padding, is a much more dangerous sport. I mean, my brother-in-law completely shattered his face. He shattered his cheek. He has a completely steel-plated cheek. So my brother-in-law, I played rugby with my whole life, and then he married my sister. So good job, I like him. But but yeah, he's a great guy. But yeah, he shattered his cheek. I mean, I tore my meniscus. I took a big concussion hit to the head, and I still have floaters in one of my eyes. Floaters, something very different to what you might think of when you go to the restroom, but yeah, it's a technical term for little blurs that you see in your eyes. I still get those now, and that's 25 years on from that injury.
Wait, so like some kind of vision problem?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And that still affects me. But yeah, I mean, the worst injury I got playing American football was actually a sprained ankle that put me out. I probably wasn't able to play for like 2 or 3 weeks. Whereas rugby, I've missed entire half seasons because of injuries. And the other question, did I ever consider wrestling? No, just because there was no real access to it. I mean, I might have. I mean, I jumped off the couch on my friends and, we elbow dropped each other and we did tombstone pile drivers without realizing the head is meant to be above the knees. It's like, everyone does that stuff.
It's like us in the backyard.
Exactly. And, we did that in England too. But in terms of an opportunity to really wrestle, I don't know. I don't think I would have ever done it. I mean, as a kid, I had, you dream of it. You'll literally wake up, especially if you're a fan, you'll be like, wow, I dreamt I was like in a tag team with Chris Jericho last night. It's weird. That's a dream I had when I was probably in I don't know, when I was probably 16. And I actually still remember that dream because it was just a really vivid wrestling dream.
Oh, nice.
Funny, but there you go. No, I would never. I don't think I would have had the opportunity, nor would I have picked it up.
All right. So from the Twitch chat, let me jump back to it. One practice site would like to know what's the longest turn you've ever taken in Super Show?
I'm going to say it's probably less than 2 minutes, and 2 minutes is a long time. But I think it's probably less than 2 minutes, which I know, Jeremy, is about as fast as you play an entire match in.
Yeah, I mean, how many times did you check someone's discard pile on that one from stories I've heard?
It helps now knowing every card in the game and knowing every number in the game. But when I first started, because I wanted to be that intricate, and it's funny because I learned that stuff off some of the better players. I learned that stuff from the likes of John P. and from the likes of Booker, and playing against those people and seeing how they asked those questions and how they examined those discard piles. I think the problem for me was that I wanted to adopt that to, to play the best I could, to be the best player I could be. But the problem was because I was so new to the game at that point, I didn't know the card names and the card numbers, which meant it took me probably 3 times as long to complete that same process that it took them. I would say now I'm not a slow player at all, and people still joke about it. But I would, and it's funny because I'll play against new players and I won't get frustrated because I know what it's like to be a newer player. But I see people doing the same thing, and it's, sometimes, names come to mind. But these are people who are going to be better players, because I think that sort of deck knowledge and that sort of analytical approach makes you a better player. And they'll get quicker at it, and they'll get better at it, like I did and like I have. And, I think it'll be just fine.
All right. I guess this is a question for Harry in character. Are you for or against the Llama Clan?
Harry likes the llamas. Who's asking the question?
VHS 101.
I'm a big fan of the llamas. Here in the ACCW, we're proud to have the llamas as part of our promotion, and they're gonna do good things.
So I know probably not everyone watching is familiar, but can you explain to people the background to the Hold the Line Harry character?
The background originally was literally just a rugby player called Hold the Line Harry who became a wrestler. That's what it started as. But then when the CAC came around, the CCC, and I had to, do a full script. I had to do a full backstory, to do all of that. I spent a long time on it because I wanted to get completely immersed in this whole, almost like the role playing side of it. So I did research. I tried to work out the main entry to the LFF was I felt for a British person was Zack Sabre Jr. So I was trying to work out a time when Harry could have met Zack Sabre Jr. So I basically found this Rev Pro Wrestling event, which was in Canterbury. Canterbury has a rugby team, the Red Lion Pub. This very pub that is screenshot right here is a real pub in England, which is a less than 5-minute walk from the venue of the Rev Pro Wrestling event where Harry met Zack Sabre Jr. and Johnny Gargano and got in a bar fight with them. I even then taught myself how to Photoshop. I'd never done any Photoshopping in my entire life. I taught myself how to Photoshop. I created this whole bar fight scene with Johnny Gargano and Zack Sabre Jr. just to put on my Facebook page. But yeah, that's basically it. I was at the wrestling match and in the pub afterwards enjoying a Guinness, and who would come in but Zack Sabre Jr. and Johnny Gargano, and got into a bar fight, and the rest is history.
That has to be historically the best tale to ever come out of Canterbury.
And I'm sure Nepsilon can tell us more.
Yeah. Oh, man. Sorry, literary references. Some people get them, some people don't. But all right. Let's see. Reported. Nepsilon's reporting us. Okay.
Reporting for inaccurate use of Canterbury tales.
I mean, it's not inaccurate. I mean, it's a tale from Canterbury, and it's better than like Chaucer's. I mean, have you ever read that guy? Doesn't seem like he knew.
There's a feud brewing.
Have you ever read Chaucer's Canterbury Tales? It's like he doesn't even understand English. Like all the words are wrong.
But I saw that movie with Heath Ledger, right? Do I need to read any of them?
Knight's Tale? Yeah, I think that's an accurate accurate depiction of Chaucer's Canterbury Tales.
Great movie though. Yeah. Good movie.
But the English is slightly better in that than in Chaucer. Yeah, I mean it's just such a weird, like the words they use. I'm more of a Sir Thomas Malory fan.
Okay,
anyway.
So talking about words they used and movies and literature, I gotta put a plug out there for John McShnur and Romeo 3000. You have to try and see it if you haven't. There are not many outlets, but particularly as a British kid who grew up reading Probably like not only, of course, Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, but every single variation, theme, alternate, different type through the decades, through the centuries almost, and like having to study them for English literature, to see Romeo as a one-armed cyborg shooting lasers, but still using the Romeo and Juliet language and putting together really good dialogue. It's a blast. So big shout out. He's probably not watching. He's probably busy working the lottery machines or something. But
yeah, and let's be fair. The best rendition of Romeo and Juliet is the Leonardo DiCaprio movie with Claire Danes. Amazing.
It's a
amazing movie.
Good movie. Romeo 3000, baby.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, Nepsilon Shrine to the Ven Chaucer is a very weak defense. Anyway, do you have any other questions right now, Dustin?
I've got one. How did you become a Bears fan?
It started off as being a mild Bears fan from literally playing Madden, being very defense minded, and the Bears always having the strongest defense in Madden. So I literally always played as the Bears in Madden. Before that, my dad was a Miami Dolphins fan. So as a kid, like before I started playing video games, and I'm talking about like the first Madden on the Mega Drive, which I think you guys called something different. What was the first Sega device that had Madden on in America? What did you call it?
Genesis?
Yeah, Genesis. So the Genesis in America was called the Mega Drive in England. But yeah, came after the Master System, was the Sega Master System. That was the square one. And then the Mega Drive was the round one. Anyway, yeah, playing Madden, I became a Bears fan. And then as it happened, when I met Callie, my wife, in college, she was finishing her final year of study in Valparaiso, Northwest Indiana. And I came over to stay with her, and we pretty much spent every weekend in Chicago. And a lot of our friends were Chicagoans. And that's really when I became a much more passionate Bears fan and a Cubs fan, and generally a Chicago sports fan. So that was probably 20 years ago, 18 years ago, or thereabouts.
I was kind of interested in that because I was like, how did he become a Bears fan? That's pretty cool.
I mean, it's not like he's a Packers fan. That would be horrible. Anyway, we got a message from the Lucha Maniacal Uberstar. So we're gonna interrupt your retort with Uberstar when he deems to show up.
Is he coming in? My ACCW rival. How dare you show your face here, Uberstar?
It's a mask, you idiot!
How dare you show your face?
Lucha Maniacal Uberstar. Hold the line, Harry. I see that you have decided to get involved in my business again. Why are you attempting to protect the poor little llamas?
I think you'll find that it's my business. The ACCW, as GM of the ACCW, as globally universal as you crazy Uberstar might be, I think you'll find that that locally, you're walking in my ring, in my arena, and there'll be no exterminations and no genocide.
Not your ring, not your locality. Lucha Libre, intergalactic and multidimensional. You are out of line. And soon, the only line you will be holding is the lifeline they put into your arm with the IV as they are trying to save your life because you stuck your nose where it did not belong.
I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there in that claim the throne on Saturday, making sure that you're not exterminating any llamas.
I will exterminate llamas, rugby men, and anyone else who gets in my way. Oh, and here's my question for you.
Questions as well?
Oh yes, I know that you have some children who are learning the game. How long will it be until I can start the luchador training?
used the restroom earlier.
Is he gone?
I think
I believe so.
I hope so.
I did see
Scary guy. Scary guy.
Just to let you know, Fox, I did see a hand gesture from Brian Smith.
Okay. Was it a rude one? I mean,
No,
he's a
but-
New York
no,
guy, so
I
a
just
lot of
saw
times
the
they do.
icon.
Well, yeah, if Brian Schmidt then wants to say something, I guess he could.
Hello. There we go. There's my mic. Hello.
Oh, there you are. I was expecting more support from Llama Clan.
Unfortunately, the better half, known as El Campeon, is retraining right now with Llama Senior and Flora right now. So, my question to you is, if not Hold the Line Harry, who would you make in the game?
I mean, the next.
Well, Harry's in the game, but so who would you next make in the game?
The next, it will be my daughter Madeline. Is going to likely be the Ninja Hummingbird, which is her superhero name. But I'm gonna envisage her as an adult wrestler, in more along the lines of how Steve did with Ariel Lipstick for Isabella, rather than actually having a child in the game. Just personal preference, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, it will be Ninja Hummingbird. But who knows? I gotta win a CAC or decide to, back a Kickstarter again, which I probably will. But
I think we all will. Follow up. Tea. What kind of tea do you drink?
I like Yorkshire. I drink it black. Tea bag still in. No, nothing added. Literally tea bag and water, and I drink it with the tea bag still in.
No milk?
No, I drink it black.
Fair enough. Okay. Those are my questions. And enjoy your whiskey, sir.
Beer running out, but yes, I'll enjoy whiskey later.
All right, guys. Going to go work on the dojo. Bye, man.
See you, buddy.
It is pointed out that Ninja Hummingbird does sound like a luchador name.
Well, yeah. I mean, she has a headdress, but no mask, so I guess she'll
be
safe. She'll be safe from the wrath of the Lucha Monacal Uberstar.
Speaking of masked villains, I believe Chibi has a question. Texas GM.
Yes, I do have a question.
Texas.
Hold the line, Harry.
This guy, he books my matches, so.
Yes, you do. You have to respect me. But right now,
I'd respect
I have to ask.
Norseman.
Norseman hasn't made it to the coast yet. He knows my number when he gets there. But hold the line, Harry. My question is, once you're put on an IV drip and unable to move after losing your local event, how will you defend the Deep South Championship
I will be
against the big
defending
bad Bobby
this baby? The brain Bob done. It's a match made in heaven, because this is a guy that had a lot of influence in my early Super Show days. So defending this belt against him will be an honor, and defeating him and retaining it will be just delicious.
I doubt that very strongly. I have it on good authority.
I know you're making it hard for me, but that's what villains like you do, Chibi. You make it hard for the good guys.
We'll see you on Saturday.
I'll be ready.
I'm surprised nobody has challenged you on here. We've seen so many characters tonight.
Well, yeah, luckily fight didn't break out. Though we are missing our normal guest or questioner of Phenomenal One.
Pineapple or sheep yet? What's going on?
No Phenomenal One. He's probably busy preparing for things to happen in the future. But Practice Site would like to know pineapple or sheep.
Who asked the question?
Practice Site asked.
Jeremy, of course it's sheep. I'm a good friend of Kirk's.
All right, how many seconds is that? I had to check the
I got kicked out of the line for another 20 seconds.
Yeah, I had to check the faction chat. Double check the time for that, but yeah. All right, so we are getting into the last 15 minutes or so of the show. So if anyone has their final questions or for Harry, please get them in now. And Dustin, if you have another question while we
make sure you guys are in the raffle.
Yep.
There is a
exclamation mark. Tell us.
Hold the line, Harry, up for grabs.
Mm-hmm.
Straight from me. It is actually my last extra until I pull more out of payoff packs.
17.3 seconds. Sorry. So.
Okay, I'm back now then.
Yeah, you're definitely back.
Actually, you asked about the line earlier, and we didn't actually answer the question. So the line actually has nothing to do with Hold the Line, Harry. It was just a name almost plucked out of the air by Paul Trejo, and we thought that's a good name. Let's use it. And it just happened to coincide with my competitor. But there we go.
All right. Nepsilon would like to know possible tag team with Jean Constance to see the heavyweight countries put their differences aside.
There'd have to be a lot of water under that bridge for Jean Constance to tag with Harry.
I mean, the 100-Year Wars was a very long time ago.
I think I'd have
French
to
should
convert,
just give up.
which won't happen. So I think that's a lifelong rivalry, which is going strong. I think I'm about 4-0 right now. So the English have it going well so far.
That seems historically accurate.
He's coming back though. He's got a
3-1. 3-1 apparently.
Hang on, I've gone one belt. 3-1. Has he beaten me?
That is what Practice Site is saying.
There you go.
And he is the master of record keeping.
He's coming after this baby. This baby is so shiny it almost doesn't work on my light because it's so shiny. This is a beautiful belt. This is the ACCW Tornado belt. Absolutely gorgeous. Look at that shine. That's what he's coming after. And he is the #1 contender right now. It's just we haven't been able to book a date and time yet.
Apparently he beat you the first time.
The first time. Okay. There we go. Must have caught me unawares. Is that when he hit me with the chair? I bet it is, isn't it?
That would be a good...
and figuratively hit me with a chair.
Yeah, that's probably why you don't remember. Errant chair shots. All right. So I think I've got all the questions from the Twitch, and no one's raising their hand. So you have another question, Dustin?
Well, I was recapping when he was talking about, with the line faction, and that's actually pretty cool because I was actually, considering that was going with your gimmick as well, but I was actually kind of picturing, I know we were talking about spectacles earlier, but I was kind of picturing maybe like a faction card, and maybe they're on like the half, like on one half of the ring or something, and they're like, "Don't you cross this line? Don't you cross over here?" Like a kind of like a faction card almost.
There is a line card in creation right now. It is currently without finishers, but who knows? Maybe there'll be a finisher made with that art one day.
Not to spoil anything. I was just, I do that sometimes.
I mean, I think, to be fair, most factions have a trio coming out after they all went on absurdly low sale. So, I don't think that's a surprise.
And the key is to pick the 3 best people in the faction and put them on the card.
Well, and also, and here's a little spoiler, which I don't mind spoiling. Also, the trio that potentially has access to a Tornado team as well, because they get even better finish access. So...
The Philly cheese could always. Anyway. Oh man. Horrible. That's a horrible Tornado team.
I don't have a copy yet, so if you come across one.
Guess what? Neither do I. I might see mine in a year or two whenever they ship the Cookies Fortune stuff.
At the end of Cookies Fortune.
Yeah. Well, my end happened, so.
Yes. Oh, they put Harry in a ring of fire. I mean, Jesus. It's no chance. Oh.
All right. So if anyone has any more questions, we are open for a few more minutes. Let's see if anyone's raising their hand. Oh yeah, I mean, if you don't ask questions now, you'll never get to ask them again.
It's not like I'm going to be in the dojo room in 10 minutes.
People don't talk in the dojo room. They just intently watch so that they can snipe the boss losses and make sure. Actually, they haven't made Schmidt's Night horrible in a while, so.
Is Schmidt playing? He's hosting, isn't he? He doesn't play as much.
Yeah, well, but it used to be a time when people would just use bits to make sure Schmidt had a bad night.
I've got something cool that I want to share actually, because
Okay.
I may not get to share it unless I get picked on the dojo.
Okay.
Because if I get picked on the dojo, I will be using. Excuse me for one moment while I grab. Oh, hang on. My whole play area is all out of sync right now because we're getting new windows fitted tomorrow.
Oh.
So a lot of the community knows me very much as being a collector. I don't think that's any surprise. I am quite an avid collector of everything. But there we go. This is what I will be. Oh, I can pull it forward a little. This is what I will be using tonight in the dojo if I get picked. And this is hopefully to bring the girls some good luck on Saturday against McPeak Inc. So we have an OG Gen Con foil Sage Wiccan Witch. And Hold the Line Harry's first completely 100% 30 cards in a face card foil deck is our wonderful Samantha Joresk Sage the Wiccan Witch. Full 1 through 30 foiled. I know other people have done it with their decks. But I'm totally psyched to say that I've done it.
Schmidt's gonna like go back and freeze this frame by frame to figure out what cards are in it, right?
I know, right? Look, I mean, I clearly spent my money. I have 3 Armenians in there, all shinies. And look, oh, this is one. Here's one just for the man himself, since he chose not to turn up. Nothing quite like that. A foil striker pose, snap a selfie. Just because, I mean, there are better cards to run in there, but you know, it's fun. So there you go. So that's something that I'm very excited about. I did share it with Sam, and I am wishing her and J Flash all the luck in taking those tag belts, because I think that would be a cracking tag team to have those tag belts.
I think Uberstar wants that foil, and he's going to steal it. Unless Jeremy's going to try to steal it, but I'm hoping it's Uberstar.
Which foil?
Well, I assume the Sage. The Strike Pose, probably.
Oh, the Striker Pose, snap a selfie.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
that's Jeremy. Yeah, Jeremy's going to steal the Breezes card.
Oh, of course, it's
Prince of Fashion.
Yes.
I mean,
Prince of Fashion.
It's probably one of the few foils I would actually keep too.
Yeah. But
who doesn't like the Prince of Fashion?
Thanks to Young Allergy, who helped me with the final piece of that puzzle. I needed a spoiler for Schmidt. I did need a press slam. So
yeah, well, you know, it's Schmidt. He'll have that deck list.
Watch it as he puts his falling elbows in now. It's a falling elbow in every deck. Quick.
Yeah, I don't think he does that much deck. Someone would have to send him a deck with a falling elbow in it for him to use.
So,
all right. So we got a couple more minutes left. Well,
I'm excited for this whatever the Christmas specials are going to be. They normally will be the Sugar Plum Fairy coming, and normally they'll do a few good deals. Hopefully we'll get some good deals on.
Yeah,
3 boxes in the payoff packs or something.
Yeah, I bought some of the deals last year when I got into the game. All right, so for people on the Twitch, I will be closing the raffle in a minute or two, and probably closer to a minute by the time you hear me say this. So if you need to get into the raffle, it's ! Tell us, TELLUS. So I think right now we have 7 or 8 people in it.
Oh, there you go. A
7.
Select few. And,
7.
And of course, if you have a copy, I'm sure you'll play it forward.
So yeah, you definitely want to get in on this raffle. It's a very good card. I mean, I'd get in it myself if I didn't already have one. That's how good of a raffle it is.
Is there anyone who's watching who's actually built and played as Harry? That's actually a question I'd like to ask those watching.
I mean, I'm technically watching, so yes.
Good.
I've built and played him a few times on Got Next. Oh, Jeremy S. has a question. I hope it's not his roommate. Hey, his roommate scares me.
He keeps good tabs on him, you know.
All you gotta do is
Uberstar also used Harry in a tournament, apparently.
All you gotta do is use the restroom before our shows, and you'll be all right.
He's gone.
Oof.
He stole my setup, so I threw him out the dining room window.
See,
Yes.
Jeremy has this power over Uberstar.
I now want a card called
welcome.
Defenestrating the Uberstar.
Yeah,
the
I have a
problem
power
in the
10 and I blank his
ACCW.
submission. He ain't
The
doing
problem
anything.
in the ACCW is whenever Uberstar's around and he's causing trouble and I need to get rid of him, Jeremy's nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. So the solution to Uberstar is a window, Jeremy, and a defenestration. Sounds fair.
We've been in the same place at the same time, and you know it. So
Yeah, I've seen them both on stream at one point.
Anyway, the question.
Yes, I have 2 questions. So number 1, let's promote our local a little bit. So for ACCW, could you tell everybody where our stores are at and
Sure.
what we were hoping to do when the pandemic was?
I mean, pre-pandemic, there were 2 stores that we played at, and post-pandemic, there will probably still be 2 stores we'll play at. So it's Gigabytes and is the biggest game store, I would say, in the whole of the greater Atlanta area. That's where sort of big tournaments happen and things like that. That's down in the Marietta area, so about 20 minutes northwest of Atlanta downtown. And then Heroic Gaming, which is closer to Roswell, where I live, probably about an hour north of Atlanta, maybe 45 minutes north of Atlanta, is the other place that we've played. And yeah, I mean, me and Jeremy had some other matches in some other places. I remember Jeremy when we were in that mall in closer to downtown Atlanta, and they kicked us out, and we ended up playing in the food court, and the security guard came over and just started hanging out with us, and there's literally 2 of us in like a desolate food court in the mall, just hanging out with the security guard, playing some cards.
A dead mall at that.
Like a completely dead mall. And the amazing thing is that I was watching Cobra Kai the other day, and the fight in the mall where they're running through the mall, literally they knocked over the table that me and Jeremy were playing Super Show on. So that was a really cool moment. I was like, that's the mall where me and Jeremy played Super Show. So it's not in California, it's in Atlanta. But there we go.
Better tax credits.
Yes, indeed.
They gotta do something. Hollywood of the South. Ain't selling nothing there.
The Hollywood of the South.
So the second question is, how excited are you for the end of the tag team tournament? I hear you might be in the winners finals.
I mean, you and I are, man. It's the Transatlantic Express, baby, taking on Dangerous Alliance. Boo. It's a great rivalry. It's a great rivalry. But yeah, we're there. We've destroyed the competition, and we're going for those belts, man. You and me.
All right, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just lost to Dangerous Alliance, so we had.
Were you the other semifinal?
Yep.
Who was your partner?
Me and my buddy Ken Fouché.
Okay.
Yeah. Ken Fouché, who's an amazing tag team competitor.
Was it a quick game or was it a good battle?
No, it was. I mean, I held Chris Pate down as much as I could. We made it to I think it was crowd meter 4, maybe. Crowd meter 3, crowd meter 4.
I have this thing about Super Show is that, and I hope a lot of other people are the same, is that if it feels like it's been a really good back and forth fight, where it's, a lot's happened and there's been some awesome breakouts on both sides, I mean, people may test me on it, but there are times where I really couldn't care less. I mean, I honestly put forward the inaugural Triad match as match of the year, and it's on the card for match of the year. And for me, the reason that match was match of the year, and I think for me, it always will be match of the year, was because, me, Trash Man, had a great rivalry anyway from the CCC, and, TJ Marconi, just a great personality. And we had this great backwards and forwards. By the time that match reached crowd meter 5, and we were all just cheering about the kickouts and the team ups and the tag ups, and TJ playing that death by elbow at crowd meter 0, at crowd meter 3 without anything else in play, because he was that variation on Gargano, the Rogue, is it, who can play?
Gigo,
yeah, he was the Rogue. He could play as a lead, and so many pops in that fight. But by the time it was crowd meter 4 or 5 or whatever, it started getting to halfway through, because it was that extravagant of a match. I was honestly like, I don't care who wins this. This is just an incredible fight, And there are a lot of matches that I've been a part of where I felt that. And sadly, the complete opposite was when I lost the Tornado belt so quickly to Pate, because that was a match in the making. We'd promoted it, we'd worked really hard at it, and it was literally a 3-turn stomp where he stopped a lead I played with a follow-up and then played a finish, and it was over. And I was really sad about that. Not necessarily sad that I lost the belt, because it was, it's awesome to hold an LFF belt. It's amazing to hold gold. But I was just really sad because I felt that I didn't put on a show. I felt that it wasn't, let alone it wasn't entertaining for me. It was a stomp. Everyone hates stomps, but it didn't, fill the role it was meant to. It was in and done. And it was, it was good for him, obviously winning the belt. Also sad for him the way he lost it with the with the controversial ruling on how two cats two furious works. It's like the Tornado belt has been mired a little bit with some controversy recently, but there we go. I was sad that match really failed to perform the way it should have.
Yeah, I kept beating myself up when I had that trios title shot back at the first virtual grand gathering. It was a 5-turn, and the gimmick, when I hit the gimmick, it was either take the stop or take the finish, and which I did it aggressively. He stopped my finish, beat stick Brandon, and then he finished me off with the stop that I could have took.
Oh, poetry. See,
So
at least you had a decision to make.
Yeah.
I didn't even get any decisions. Literally, I played a card, he stopped it, he hit a finish, it was over. Like, damn, that was it, really? But yeah, no, I hear you, man. It's those are the matches which I think we'd all rather forget. The matches that we'd all rather remember, and not necessarily the ones we win, but the ones that are exciting for everyone involved. And that inaugural trio match, which the Trash Man took, and then the Trash Man went on to do his, weekly musings with the Trash Man, his Monday night musings, and it was great fun. He's an amazing competitor as well, and a great personality.
All right. So it's after 7:30, so we should pull our winner and then end the show. So the winner of the signed Hold the Line Harry is VHS 101.
Mr. Schmidt. There is a signed Hold the Line Harry on its way to you, sir.
Yep. So Schmidt, get a hold of Harry, and congratulations. All right, and thank you for coming on the show, Jonathan. It was much appreciated.
Thank you for having me. It was a little while in the making. I think I was originally slated to maybe come on around about the time of my wife's birthday, but I couldn't get on because of family commitments. So nice to be here now.
Yeah, I was happy to have you, man.
Yeah.
And I've enjoyed this episode, of course.
Isn't it funny that I couldn't come on when it was my wife's birthday, but I can get on when it's my birthday? It's the right priorities there, right?
Oh, yes, definitely. Yeah.
And also, for me in, Fox, I wanted to say who was on our show next week.
Sure. It'll be news to me because I always forget.
Give me 1 second. I am sorry. All right, so I'm just going to get at it and say that, the show is based on, getting to know get to know the players instead of just the competitors. Next week's episode is going to be Mark Sylvia.
Okay, and the face.
Yeah.
And I know probably, some of y'all probably know him a whole lot better than I do. And I was talking to him the other day, and I won't get into a full story, but I was talking to him the other day because I don't think I've ever got to play him or got to talk to him. And he's like, well, is it okay? I said, yeah, man, that's what this show is all about. It's whether I really fully know you or not. I don't care if you've been playing a day or a year, or I think he said he's been playing over a year. I'm like, I'd love to have you. It's what this show's all meant to be for. So he's going to be our guest next week.
Yeah, he's a very cool competitor too. So he's a fun. All right, it'll be great to get to know more of him because I haven't actually. I think I only talked to him a few times through when I was hosting tournaments. So It'll be great to get to know him.
I've played him once, I think, in an RCW match.
Yeah.
Seems like a real nice guy.
Oh yeah. Well, most of the RCWs, and by most of them, I mean every single RCW person I've ever had to talk to in this game, except for Schmidt because he was at one point RCW, are great people and are fun to talk with. Schmidt's fun too. I just like busting his balls.
I'm gonna end this real quick. I was happy to have you, Jonathan.
Yep.
It's been an awesome show. I just want to say, go Pack, go.
I'm not going to bring out Ditka because you asked me not to. I can respect the host, you know.
Yeah.
The Bears.
All right. Well, thank you all, and we will see you all next week.
See y'all later.